West Indies 4 for 86.
Here from 4 for 46. Australia have been through this type of frustration already in the series. Not being able to really capitalize on an early breakthrough such as they've got here.
Interesting staggered field that Peter Taylor has adopted on the offside. He has an inner ring of fieldsmen, and then Geoffrey Marsh forward of point towards cover, just a little bit deeper. Gus Logie hit one through that area in the last over. This has prompted Taylor or Border to suggest that it might be better to have a second ring. And that's where Geoffrey Marsh is in that second ring. It's not really a run-saving, not a single-saving position anyway. It's more of a boundary-saving position in which Geoffrey Marsh is fielding. It's up to the inner ring fieldsman to cut off the singles.
He's gone with him to mid-wicket, trying to go over the top, Gus Logie, and straight into the grasp of the man with the shades. Dean Jones holds the catch at mid-wicket. The West Indies have lost their 5th wicket for 114.
Peter Taylor doing the job that he's been asked to do. Gus Logie attempting to go over the infield. Dean Jones, as with Geoffrey Marsh, is in a slightly deeper than normal position. He completes the catch, much to the delight of Peter Taylor, and the West Indies are now 5 for 114.
New batsman is Jeffrey Dujon, 5 for 114. And certainly not an unfamiliar position for him in this series. 3 times before this, he's come in with the West Indies struggling. And he's come in now because Peter Taylor has got his first wicket of the series.
Nothing much in the delivery from point of view of swing or spin. It's fairly well over-pitched, and Gus Logie started to try and go over the infield. But Alan Border and Peter Taylor had Dean Jones stationed a little bit deeper than a normal mid-wicket position. Almost halfway to the boundary, not quite. Turned out to be a fairly simple catch for the man in shades.
A single by Haynes there, breaking the sequence of maidens. Pushes him on to 70.
Geoffrey Dujon, not unaccustomed to coming in difficult situations. He's played 76 test matches for England. 106 innings. Over 3,000 runs now. Averaging 33, which is pretty good for lower middle order batsman, wicketkeeper. 5 centuries in that lot, 16 other scores of 50 or more, and a higher score of 139 versus Australia in Perth in the 1984-85 series. A very good performer for the West Indies over the years, and again being asked to pull them out of a bit of a hole. 204 their first target to avoid the follow-on.
I don't think he'd appreciate you saying that he played 76 test matches for England.
I'm sure he wouldn't. He's obviously played them for the West Indies. Just testing you out, Coase, to see if you're on the ball.
Tell you what, at 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon, takes a bit to pick up that sort of thing. Only 2 wicket-keepers now with more dismissals than he has. He passed his 250 dismissals as a keeper today in tests. And 2 of the best keepers the game has ever known, Rodney Marsh at the top of the list, and Alan Knott, number 2, and he's got number 3. So 3 top wicketkeeper batsmen, all of them, Marsh, Knott and Dujon, contributed not only with the gloves behind the wicket but also played really well in front of it. Very crucial batsman, and very elegant too, Dujon, as he gets off the mark with a boundary. Alan Border's had a lot of chasing to do in the outfield today, and on 2 or 3 occasions it's been this close.
Five for 119, the West Indies, much to the delight of the Australian supporters in the crowd. Peter Taylor will continue the bowling. Richie Benno and Clive Lloyd, the commentary.
Thanks, Craig. Afternoon, everyone. P. Taylor from the southern end. Lovely square drive to greet him at the start of this over. A little bit too much width, a little bit over-pitched. Hasn't had much bowling. When he did bowl last, he did well in the game in St. Vincent.
Yes, that's an over-pitched ball there from Taylor, and it's been crashed to point by Desmond Haynes. Magnificent looking shot. Peter Taylor in the Test matches is 11, 25 wickets, 880 runs, an average of 35.2. 5 wickets in innings once. Best bowling, 6 for 78 versus England.
2 great shots. He's in nice touch, Desi Haynes.
Yes, this is a beautifully skewed on drive here by Desmond Haynes. Hit with a lot of force. There are birdmen all over the place. In Guyana, they had quite a few. And here, look quite comfortable. And seems they didn't have to pay the entrance fee. Enjoying great day's cricket.
Oh, he's got to be this time. Oh, yes, yes. I think it would have been a bit much. Even for McDermott's flesh and blood, had he not got that. He aimed for the Yorker again. You might remember back in Jamaica, he had Desi down his hands and knees a couple of times with that same delivery, and that just shows you what a good bowler McDermott is these days.
Yes, he is. He's a very strong young man. And Desmond Haynes just struck in the foot there. It's a full toss. Great delivery from Craig McDermott from West Indies. Just lost their 7th wicket at 138.
The crowds are really getting stuck into it now, Australian supporters and West Indians. Australia 403, 6 for 136, although our score says it's 6 for 137.
Yes, the Australians are now down to the tail. West Indian batting. Malcolm Marshall receiving from Craig McDermott.
There's been a lovely spell of bowling from McDermott. It's not unusual because he's got better and better as this tour has gone on.
This is one that's Desmond Haynes there, the Yorker length, and the umpire takes some time before he gives them out. That is magnificent bowling spell here from young Craig McDermott.
Just seems to be having a little bit of a problem with his run-up. Really stuttering in the middle of the run-up. Losing a bit of momentum.
Well, that's a prime example of a man very inconsistent in his stride pattern up to the crease. Yeah, definitely having problems with his run-up. Not very smooth at all. I don't think he's really getting the amount of help that he should be getting from his run-up. No real rhythm there at all.
That's well hit. And 6 is signalled there by umpire Buckner. It's 6 for 160. Beautifully hit. Loves to go through the offside, Malcolm Marshall.
Peter Taylor again over pitching here. If you're going to be throwing the ball up in the air to try and deceive a batsman with flight, you've got to make sure that the length is such that he has got a chip to get to the pitch. Malcolm Marshall not having to have to chip here at all, just the left leg forward through the line. Beautifully played.
Not what Merv Hughes needs in between overs.
In line with the stumps, but just drifting down the leg side. Pretty safe shot. Unless, of course, you get a top edge.
Six for 170.
Well, just a little bit of frisbee throwing there.
In the air, and once again it's cleared the fence.
Jeffrey Dejean is a pretty good hooker. From his very first innings against Australia has been tested with these bouncers. At the MCG, out caught on the boundary hooking, but This isn't the MCG. It's much smaller, as you can see over the boundary.
Sailed into this area, English Harbour, that's Shirley Heights up the top, way back in 1784. Sailed in to be captain and second in command of the Leeward Island station, which had been established by the British. Found the delectable Fanny Nisbet on the island of Nevis, wed her, and stayed here for quite some time. They're the more modern type ships, lots of cruise liners around, and lots of the smaller variety in the foreground. Pretty area, St. James. It's certainly a very tiny island, 108 square miles in all. Barbados, from where we've just come for the fourth test match, is also very tiny. Antigua has 365 beaches on it. Would you believe that? What a marvelous catch. What an absolute blinder by that fielder, Dean Jones. I've seen him take some beauties over the years, but nothing better than that, I tell you.
Well, talk about wearing the shades. This catch puts a lot of catches in the shade. An unbelievable piece of athleticism from Dean Jones. Throws himself full length to the left. It was about shoulder height when it went past him, and do you think he's excited? Seven for 186.
So often Curtly Ambrose has been the stopper for the Australian side. He's come in and made runs a couple of times when they've been in trouble. Once when they were trying to avoid the follow-on in Trinidad. Now it's 7 for 186, 404, 204 is the figure they want for the follow-on. So another 18.
Dean Jones put an end to Geoffrey Dujon's aspirations. Dujon has played a shot here off the back foot that he must have thought was going to the boundary. It was well to the left of Dean Jones. He has absolutely thrown himself in desperation to his left. Dujon really expecting this to get to the boundary. He cannot believe it. Really?
5 minutes to go to the scheduled end of the day's play, and here's Mark Wall. That scheduled end won't come at 5:05, which is the listing in the playing conditions. The sun is not down below the trees yet, and there are 19 overs to go for viewers on CBU throughout the Caribbean, B-Sky B. Very nicely timed. It's a little bit slow in the outfield on that side. Yes, CBU viewers, B-Sky B. And all our other viewers, places like the Carib 2 Disco up outside Toronto, where they watch every ball avidly. In Bermuda, where they will be hosting the Australians at the end of this section of the tour. One hand, Ian Healy got it. And Mark Waugh has done it with a bouncer. Moments before the water cart comes on, and it's 8 down for 195. 204 needed to avoid the follow-on.
Mark Waugh had success in Barbados with the short pitch deliveries. He's done it again here. He banged that one in very, very short. One hand. Malcolm Marshall finished up playing that hook shot. Ian Healy makes, well, he just had a little bit of a fumble, but no real problems there. And that's the 8th wicket for 195.
That's a very good straight drive by Courtney Walsh to raise that possibility of a follow-on. It doesn't go quite all the way, mainly because Merv Hughes got a touch onto it, but a superb shot. So the West Indies, having saved the embarrassment of a follow-on, brings the crowd to life, gets Chicky's disco going. Good catch. Well taken at second slip. Mark Taylor.
Australian fielding has been excellent today. Absolute blinding catch taken by Dean Jones earlier on to get rid of Dujon. That was a good one taken by Mark Taylor at second slip. Hughes angling the ball across Curtly Ambrose. So it's 9 down with the West Indies just having avoided the follow-on.
Last man for the West Indies is Patrick Patterson, come in to replace Curtly Ambrose. Good catch by Mark Taylor at second slip, getting rid of him. Ambrose out for 8. Merv Hughes picking up his 3rd wicket. Well, that's certainly deflected from something. Just the pad. Quite a sharp deflection.
Must have been horribly close to LBW. Can't imagine why it wasn't out LBW. Neither can Mark Waugh. It was actually a very quick piece of footwork there by Courtney Walsh, and if he hadn't kicked it away, it would have hit off stump.
Courtney Walsh swinging the bat there to get 2. I think Patterson has told him that he wants to at least face the ball or 2. Patterson has come in because of this catch by Mark Taylor. So Patterson is off the mark, which in fact leaves the West Indies captain with a duck on the board. Batting has been somewhat suspect today. Top innings by Desmond Haynes, 84, but the top order failing there. And that's the end of the innings for the West Indies. Merv Hughes picks up his 4th wicket. Patterson bowled. Patterson out for 2, leaves Courtney Walsh 11, and the West Indies all out for 214. And Australia have a lead of 189 on first innings.
So the West Indies.
Chat. Be a little bit concerned about the light here at the moment. That's a good delivery from Curtly Ambrose. And Jeffrey Marsh once again has left the bat out to dry outside off stump. He's got the outside edge and the ball's gone through. Jeffrey Dujon has taken the catch. And Jeffrey Marsh is not very happy about the light.
Jeffrey Marsh not very happy, but that was a very good ball from Curtly Ambrose. That's the line that you want to be bowling with the new ball, and that's the length as well. Very happy Curtly Ambrose. Australia lose their first wicket. 1 wicket down to 4 runs.
Ian Healy is the new batsman. He has been sent in as the night watchman. He'll be hoping that he won't have to stay out there for very long. Courtney Walsh does the fielding as Ian Healy gets off the mark. Healy came in to replace Jeffrey Marsh, who was removed by Curtly Ambrose.
Marsh just pushing at that one. It was a ball that he had to play at, though. It was on the correct line, just outside the off stump. Had to play at it, just taking a very thin edge through to Jeffrey Dujon.
Very difficult period for the Australian batsmen. The umpires are well aware of the fact that the light is fading. The sun is just keeping through the clouds again at the moment. The light is probably a little bit better than it was just a while ago. Maybe because the lights are on around the ground. The street lights, traffic lights are showing up in the gloom. Not many shadows on the ground at the moment because the sun really hardly strong enough to throw a shadow. Shadow on the side screen behind Courtney Walsh's arm. Just a light shadow across the side screen. It's a no ball from Courtney Walsh. Umpire Steve Buckner, the man giving the signal.
We have some very intimidating field placing here, Greg, with Viv Richards and Gus Logie close in on the offside and the onside. Anything popped in the air on either side of the wicket, and they are there to grab them.
Courtney Walsh bangs it in, but Ian Healy equal to the challenge. As I said before, he would enjoy this challenge. He, in fact, made his top score in Test cricket against England. As the umpires go and have another chat, Ian Healy made his top score in Test cricket against England going in as a night watchman. He'll be happy if the umpires decide it's too dark. They've made the offer, and the Australian batsmen have decided it is too dark, and they're quite happy to head for the safety of the dressing room and take up battle again tomorrow morning.